Hello?
Hello?
There's always just a little pause before we all come back on screen again, and it's like, is it going to come back on? Is it not? Is it black? What's happening? Is it? Here we are. Hello.
Hello, replay viewers.
Hello.
I'm really excited because one of our OG panelists is back. We've not had C-Dubs on for a while, and he's here, so I'm excited.
I've been let out of the jungle.
Is that where you've been hiding?
Yeah, I've been hiding in the jungle. I've been released into the wild again.
So shall we, before we open the emails and get into it, shall we have a little wander around and introduce ourselves and explain what we do and who we are and all that stuff? And I don't know who wants to go first.
I'll go first, I guess.
Go on then, Chris, you go first.
I'm the returning OG. So
go on then.
My name is Chris, also known as C-Dubs. My moniker that Helen gave me for my DJing prowess, I guess. And now I'm also known as Retromaker. I stream on Twitch as Retromaker TV, and I have shows where I do my 3D printing and designing, and then I also show late night movies, classic old movies and TV shows. And I'm actually getting back into my scale modeling. I do like train layouts, so that's also 3D printing related. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that recently, and I just started back up streaming around Christmas time. So I'm back in it and here to win it.
Hooray!
And I know the whole, like, how this all works with the hit and miss. You don't have to tell me.
Jim, do you want to go next?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ellen. And hello, everybody. My name is Jim. I am from the northwest suburbs of Chicago, live streamer in my 10th year here on all of the Periscope apps, now here on Twitch. Guys, welcome back, Chris. Make sure you guys are subscribing and following him. Talking about pop culture and flashbacks and memories. Look no further, and that's my shtick. I am the presenter of Saturday Night Trivia here on Twitch. We go live here in the States at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. We do general knowledge and music rounds, and we're focusing tomorrow night, or on March 8th, we're doing Night at the Movies. So general knowledge trivia for all sorts of movie categories and more. And you can follow me down there at Jim in Chicagoland. I think Jeeves is next. Jeeves, tell us your story.
So I'm Jeeves, a.k.a. Mr. Twix. I'm a DJ, engineer, live sound producer, video editors. I do it all. You can find me on Twitch, Mr. Twix. So Mr. _Twix, TWIXXZ. And I DJ over there 3 times a week. And that's me.
God, you're all so fast. Right.
It's Stefano.
I'm Stefano Barberis. Hi, everyone. I'm from the Vancouver area of Canada, the country that's being attacked by America right now. And I'm not a live streamer yet. Jim, don't do it. I'm not a live streamer. I'm a music video director, and I just finished directing a video for Andy Bell of Erasure. So that's pretty cool. I'm also one half of the band Breathe My Leaves. It's an electronic band. And we're working on a brand new album, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, that's about it. I'm a music lover. I'm obsessed with music. So that's me.
I wasn't fast enough to make you bigger on the screen. You just kind of flashed that up and flashed that down. So at the end, I'll make you all bigger at the end, and we'll do the same spiel again, and we'll have a proper, anyway, whatever. I am Helen, and I am the host of Helen's Mixtape on 365 Radio. Although 365 Radio are changing their format, so apparently we're going to be Patreon based. So apparently you find my stuff on patreon.com/Helen's Mixtape. It's 365 Radio that are running it, but they're not using this, whatever. Anyway, I'm rambling on. So premise of the show, people send me their tracks to be played on the radio. I can't play them all. So once a month, we gather together, we open the emails, we dive in, we open some emails at random, we've no idea what we're getting, and we decide whether or not the tracks that we're listening to are going to be a hit or a miss. So, without further ado, shall we just bash on and get the emails open, I think? Hi,
Yes.
Vicky, how are you doing?
Jim, someone loves you if you look at the messages to
Oh, Andy loves you, Jim.
And we love Andy too. Hi,
Andy
Andy.
Oh, hi,
Angela, up
Andy.
a tree.
Hello.
Welcome in, everyone.
Hello, replay viewers.
That's funny.
So happy you guys are here.
Right.
Now we get to see Helen's email.
Now we can see the emails. Now, what I should do is, if I go to the starred ones, there we go. These are all musicy ones, right? So we want to go back to where we left off, which is quite a bit back, actually. Chain, Quicksilver. I'm looking for, ideally, something that's come directly from a musician themselves rather than through a PR company, because it's just easier. And it's the same names. We keep seeing the same names. Okay, this seems to have attachments attached to it, so let's have a little look at this one. Stig Wittendorf has sent something over. Has that jumped? Can we read it? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to read the email first. I'm going to go straight into the song, and then we'll go back and read what the email said. So I'm looking for the link to the track. Streaming links. Can we not just have, do we not just have the actual file? Can we not have a file? See, this is why I don't like reading pluggers stuff, because they never seem to just have the file attached. Okay, here we go. Right. I've got a whole bunch of tracks. I'm just going to play the first one on the list. Let me know if we've got sound.
Went wrong in a time when we never felt so strong, in a time when people ask for democracy, this growing feeling inside of me, inside of me. Upside down, and life will never be the same. The world is burning down. The world is burning down. Burning down.
Okie dokie. Right. So, is everybody unmuted? Yep. Stop sharing that. First of all, before we get into the comments, I would just like to say that if you're watching over on Mixcloud or TikTok, and actually, in fact, I can't see if this is going out to TikTok for some reason, but if you're commenting over there, we cannot see your comments. So if you want to participate and you've got something to say, pop into one of the Twitch channels or over on YouTube, and we'll be able to see your comments. Right. I think we'll just do it the same way. We'll go clockwise. Chris, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go first. I liked it. It had a definite New Order sound to it that I definitely dug. I was kind of grooving along to it. The lyrics were at first seemed a little off to me, like maybe English wasn't their first language, but then just trying to figure out like what the message was a little difficult. But the music itself, I thought was on point. The singing sounded all right. I guess that's how I feel about it. Go on to Jim. Right, we're not doing the hit or the miss till the end, right?
The end. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
And we still need to read the email as well. I need to call that back up.
Oh, okay.
But we'll go.
Sure,
We'll
sure.
give our opinions first, and then we'll jump back into it. Jim.
Very good. Well, Chris, welcome back, sir. You made it through your first song. Congratulations. And it was
Thanks,
a good
Jim.
one. It was a song that brought back some early 90s vibes. For some reason, I hear that drum beat, that just in your face drum beat. It brought me back to the song Tragedy for You by Front 242. I have visions of people pushing a shopping cart through the desert and collecting food, as the old video alluded to back in the day. That I love the heavy synth. I love that in your face. The synth with that bam bam bam. I love that sound. Love that sound. Love the drums. Love the synth on that. The lead vocalist, the female lead vocalist, for all of you. For the old Generation X people, she had a vocal styling similar to an artist or a singer named Astrid Plain, who was the original vocalist for a band called Animotion in the mid 80s as Obsession, I Engineer, and ultimately she was replaced with Cynthia Rhodes when they did a more poppy song called Room to Move. But her vocal styling's reminiscent of I Engineer, Obsession, that genre. Lead vocalist guy. I don't know if it's just me. I think this is maybe a Jeeves question. I don't know if those vocals were his vocals were a little bit lower than his. Regardless, the lyrics, I think, as Chris mentioned, I agree with Chris on this as well. The lyrics were just very, I don't want to say mid. They were very. It was very gentle. It wasn't nothing that really hooked me. But the drum, the bass, that stuff I loved. But like I said, a little fine tweaking here and there. I think they may be onto something. Back to you, Jeeves.
Cool. All right. So yeah, I agree with all of you guys about the vocals. Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't like really cool. But the one thing that kind of like threw me out a little bit was that kick drum. It was way too loud, and the way they picked the thing, like the pitch for it or whatever it is, it wasn't syncing until like all the other synths that came at the other end and when very dynamic. That's when it started to fit, but it actually didn't work at all. It was way too like I don't know. The pitch wasn't there. So that was kind of throwing me off trying to listen to everything else. But I like the arpeggio and the pad that they had in there. That was really good and stuff. And yeah, and I agree with Jim here about the mixing. Yeah, they did do that, and yeah, it was kind of like hard to figure out what they were actually trying to say, or So that's. Oh, I think the track was good. It just wasn't mixed right, and I guess I don't know where they were going with it, but that's just my opinion, and that's me. On
Stefano.
to Stefano.
I liked it. It sounded like an Erasure demo for a B-side from the late '80s, early '90s, kind of. The very first thing, just like Jeeves said, the kick was just jarring. Shouldn't probably maybe lower in the mix at least. and it had an awkward segue constantly, like every eighth kind of bar, like there was this weird kind of like pause in a weird way. There was like this skip. Um, yeah, but the vocals totally obsession style, just like Jim said. That female vocalist, another good, I guess, comparison. It just felt like a demo to me. I like the female vocal, and I like the whole kind of underground 80s, 90s kind of feel. Electronic, I love that sound. I love the driving synths and any kind of arpeggiation is brain masturbation, like I like to say all the time. And I love that sound. But I would say I would leave out the male vocal. It brought it into under demo. I would have left it all female and embrace that kind of indie sound a little bit because it was kind of cool. But yeah, if they fix their kick drum and they get rid of the male or kind of make the male at least some sort of like an under BG vocal for the female, maybe, and maybe add an effect to it. Other than that, yeah, I liked it. It was nice. I like that kind of electronic music. So that's
Okay, the problem with having 5 people on the panel is that everybody's already said pretty much everything I was thinking before it gets to me, right? I would agree with a lot of what's been said. Yes, it definitely sounded like this, particularly the male vocal, is maybe I don't think English is the first language. You can hear it's broken English. That's not necessarily a problem in itself, but the vocal was monotone, very monotone. I quite enjoyed this. Musically, it totally, I mean, it did sound a little bit like Animotion, even musically, but I was thinking Vince Clarke, and all the stuff that Vince Clarke's done, whether it's Erasure or Yazoo or early Depeche, whatever, it had that. You can hear that this group have been influenced by Vince Clarke's work. I don't really have very much more to say because I feel like you guys have covered pretty much everything that there is to, I actually would have, I know you're saying you would have liked it with a female vocal. I actually would have quite liked it just as an instrumental. With a drive in, like a deep, heavy synth. I like that dark synth wave, kind of dark synth sound. I enjoyed this musically. I think I would love to hear an instrumental version. I don't even know what the name of the track was because it looks like I've been sent an entire album and I just picked the first one that was on the list. So I think what we should do, and before I do this, hello to everyone that's coming in, Melanie, Built Over Bot, people that are saying hi, hello, nice to have you here. If anybody has anything to say or any opinions on the music, by all means, chip in. If you're over on TikTok or Mixcloud, Mixcloud, if you're not on Mixcloud, put your teeth back in, Helen. If you're over on TikTok or Mixcloud, we won't see those comments. So if you want to comment, come into one of the Twitch channels, YouTube, or Twitter. All right, so let's open up the emails again and read the blurb that came with it.
It looks like we're in jail, according to one of the viewers. It says jail.
Yeah,
time.
I have to apologize for Built Over Bot in advance. He's one of my stalkers.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
No, he's a good friend of mine. So
Who's
yeah.
in jail with all of us? All of us, or is
Yeah,
just
no, just me.
okay?
Oh, okay.
All right, so
He's just joking around.
we are a little bit late opening these up, obviously, because it takes us a while. We only do four at a time, and we only do this once a month, right? So we are quite far. Start off by saying we are quite far behind with the emails. So it says here, out Friday the 15th of November. Whoopsie! The debut album Distant Love from Swedish-Danish dark wave act HellaMox. So the band are called HellaMox. It's dark and it's synthy with a retro vibe. It is the electronic music side project named HellaMox. From a synth studio Sweden, here is HellaMox's debut album called Distant Love, an awesome electronic album to give you a synthy happy Friday. Okay. And ironically enough, it is actually Friday. HellaMox is an electronic music side project by Helen from Swedish female-powered synth act Elect, and Morten Christensen from one of Denmark's most notable and popular dark wave acts, Disrupted Being. Hella and Morten, hence HellaMox, obviously it's the combination of the two. Genius. met back in May 23 at a concert in Stockholm on the good ship Patricia, where both Elect and Disrupted Being were playing a concert on the same evening. There was good chemistry, and soon a music collaboration was established with online meetings and files going back. We really don't need to know all this. And then they got a hotel room together. We don't need the details, folks.
Many white is ours.
We don't need to know. HellaMox played their first concert in November 24 at the well-known synth venue Charles Dickens in Helsingborg, Sweden. In May, they played at the cool underground venue Basement CPH in Copenhagen, Denmark. Okay, and that's the artwork. All right, so.
And they lived happily ever after.
And they lived happily ever after, and they had lots of chemistry. Nice. It's a love story.
I like the description of happy dark wave. Happy
I know,
happy and
right?
dark wave.
Right?
Yeah.
If ever there was an oxymoron.
It's like hardcore vanilla.
Hi. So, what did we think, folks? Was it a hit or was it a miss? What are we thinking? Ooh! Congratulations, HellaMox. It's a hit all round. Well done, well done. Thank you for sending in your track. Very good. That was nice for the first one. All right. Let's get the emails open again and move on to the next. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. What was that last one we just did?
HellaMox.
HellaMox.
That's a cool name.
Right.
I like that.
You're listening to HellaMox's mixtape.
I know, right?
They better not, or I'm suing the fuckers, okay?
Not box from hell.
That's funny.
Hella walls.
Okay. The Sound Lab, new promo. I'm hoping there's an attachment to this. Nope. Oh, hang on.
Boy.
Yes, it is. There's one on here.
there's
Okay.
one at the bottom.
Hurrah! Right.
Am I comfortably numb, unamused and unfazed? Will I die like a fool, not live up to my name? Afraid of what I've become. Am I stuck in this bed? Need to talk with myself, face the fight in my head. Tripped and I fell in the deepest of holes, changing my course as I bleed from my soul. Hiding the pain, no more hiding the pain that I've been through. Been running from life, too afraid to start living. Losing myself, gotta find a new vision. Never gonna break never gonna take my power away. Been running from life, too afraid to start living. You follow your life or you fade into winter. I'm never gonna break never gonna take my power away. Couple drinks with the boys, try to fill up this hole. Wake up sick and annoyed, at the lowest of lows. Always chasing for more, gotta run from the gray. I've been praying for hope before life starts to fade. Tripped and I fell in the deepest of holes, changing my course as I bleed from my soul. Hiding the pain, no more hiding the pain that I've been through. Been running from life, too afraid to start living. Losing myself, gotta find a new vision. I'm never gonna break never gonna take my power away. Been running from life, too afraid to start living. You follow your life or you fade into winter. I'm never gonna break never gonna
longest ever fade out. Okay,
Yeah. That
so
outro was like and super quiet and like kept going
it's
and
still
going.
going. It's still going. Although it's see something like that. To be fair, sorry, before we get into it, but something like that is actually quite good for radio presenters talking over the outro. Like that's actually quite good to
Sure.
have. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like from that
But it was a
standpoint.
little too low, I think. It was like
Aye,
really
but you want it
quiet.
to be low when you're talking
Yeah.
over it, right? So I'll give them.
Right.
I know for
Okay.
the average listener, that's like what the fuck. But from a radio presenter's point of view, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
right.
you can just bring it down, can't you? Like, yeah.
Anyway, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Make it
Shall
easy.
we? Shall
Right.
we? Do it in reverse and go Stefano first, and just go back round
Oh, you want to go
anti-clockwise.
backwards? Okay. Go ahead.
I think that's probably the best song we've ever had on any of the shows I've been on the show. The vocal for me, because I'm spoiled with a really good vocalist that I work with, so I kind of hold everything to a different standard. This vocal was like the kind of vocal that makes love to your eardrums. What a great vocal! Like great, well produced, everything. It was almost like The Weeknd wrote this, but stripped the synth wave out of it. So it was A plus. Like that is a well done pop song in every way. Like that's all I've got to say. That is just very well done.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, Jeeves.
Yeah, I agree with Stefano. It sounds like a Weekend slash some parts it sounded like the Weekend, some parts it sounded like Shawn Mendes and stuff. But yeah, a little bit. He's got a really good voice. Yeah, the production was really good. Like it had all the parts to it. It's radio ready. It's ready to go out right now on the wave. Like it's amazing. It doesn't sound amateur. Like I liked every part of it. Like I don't think I have anything like criticize about it. You know, it it went where it needed to go and stuff. So yeah, I don't really have much to say. But I liked it. I actually liked it. It's like my kind of genre, you know. So I like it. Go
Jim.
ahead, Jim.
Wow. Like I said, I will echo what Steph and Jeeves have said here. Outstanding vocal, great range. The production quality was exceptional. It was very radio friendly, not my exact cup of tea personally. However, and this perspective of a majority of our viewers and listeners, this is something that it brings something for everybody. Very radio ready, radio friendly. The only minimal downside is I understand he wants to showcase his vocal stylings, but when you have that kind of energy, you're showing that range. That middle part of the song where it just stopped all of a sudden, you're getting all this momentum. A minute and a half, 2 minutes into the song, all of a sudden it just stops and it gets really mellow. And I understand he wants to come back and bring it again. To me, maybe it would be effective everywhere else, but for me, it just didn't, vibe with me right there. Because I think it was kind of a vibe killer briefly. We maybe get rid of that, or you kind of just work on that little middle section there and kind of get that first part and the second part and bridge it together so you finish strong. That would definitely be a game changer. The only other thing is, and I understand the outro part that Helen alluded to as far as when it faded out and everything. Maybe there'll be a radio edit version where they can get rid of the middle part and that long outro fade. But outside of that, that guy, arguably, I will echo Steph's sentiment. Arguably one of the best vocals I've ever heard here on JukeBox Jury.
All right.
Chris.
Yeah, that sounds great, Jim. I definitely would agree with the part about the middle. In general, I thought it's definitely not my style. It's a little bit more poppy than what I like, but when the chorus kicked in, I really thought it was well sung and really had a lot of great energy. I thought it was maybe the tempo was a little bit too fast. It was almost like it was tripping over itself a little bit. At least that was my feeling. Like what Jim was saying, it could have like balanced out a little bit more from the fast to the slow. Um, but generally, yeah, I mean the vocals were great. I thought the beginning part like I said, I think the chorus was definitely the highlight for me, and definitely like showcased his voice. But yeah, there was some of the structure of the song that didn't appeal to me as much, and just generally, it's a lot more poppy than what I would want to listen to. But yeah, I definitely agree with the comments about The Weeknd and those type of artists that were similar, Shawn Mendes, and um, it didn't sound original to me, I guess. So that's kind of, I guess, where I would say it's not something I think I would hear on your show, Helen, necessarily. It was a little bit more, I guess maybe like, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not as big a fan, I guess, as some of the other ones were, but it was definitely well produced and very talented artist. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Right. I agree with everything that's been said so far in terms of the guy can sing, absolutely. Good vocalist. Sounds like someone else though. Can't quite pinpoint who, but there's a few kind of young kind of pop. I'm thinking like bands like The Midnight who sound like that vocally. I could hear Two Door Cinema Club, Slow Readers Club, quite a lot of kind of guitar based. This sounded ready for mainstream radio. Any mainstream, Radio 1, BBC Radio 2, anything, BBC introducing like I can Six Music. I can hear this on. That's just the BBC stations, but this is ready for commercial mainstream radio. And I'm an oddity, and I play the stuff that other radio shows and stations don't play. So when Chris says he doesn't think he'd hear this on my show, he's right. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think it's a great track. I agree this does sound like it could have been written by The Weeknd. That I was trying to pinpoint who does this remind me of, and you nailed it when you said The Weeknd. I'm like, that's what it is, except it's not synthy enough. It's just missing the synth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why it wouldn't get played on Helen's mixtape, because it wasn't synthy enough. However, I did enjoy it. I absolutely 100% will put this out to the other presenters on the station. Like, I'll send this out to the rest of the other presenters on 365 Radio. It will get played on 365 Radio somewhere, because it belongs on the radio. It was good enough. It was good enough to be played on the radio. It's good enough to be played on the flagship mainstream radio stations. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. It's just not Helen's mixtape, and that's more to do with me than this artist. We don't even know who the artist is. We're going to open the emails and read the bump before we make a decision on whether it's a hit or a miss. But I was actually quite impressed particularly with the vocals. At first I thought, oh god, it's another like boy band singer that sounds like a million other.
Yeah.
And then
I thought too.
Then
when the chorus came in.
Then I heard him excel, and I heard him hold the notes, and I'm like, okay, fair play. You can definitely sing. You can definitely sing. So well done. I'm going to open up the email. We'll read what it says. Okay. Now I need to close this part off. Has that jumped over? Can we read it?
Yep.
Okay, good stuff.
Yep.
All right. Oh, it's quite lengthy. It's quite
maybe just the first paragraph.
It's quite florid. Can I make it any bigger so you guys can see? Hang on. Can we make it? Is that better? Can we read it better now? Maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of.
As long as you can read it.
Kind of. Yeah.
Read the whole thing.
I'm getting old. I need to make it a 200% to read it.
I don't think these are working.
Oh man. Okay. This is our return to PR in a bid to help some new artists gain much needed airplay. As a result, there's no need to let us know directly that you're playing it, but it would be great to let the artist know direct via the social links. Okay, fair enough. So this has been sent in by the Sound Lab, which is a PR company. Diego Fragnod.
Is that Germany?
Yeah, Fragnod.
Running is the name of the track. Running. Diego, If you watch this back, I apologise for butchering the pronunciation of your name. By all means, contact me and tell me how it's supposed to be pronounced, because I hate saying things wrong. Diego is a pop star in the making, creating music to help others feel loved and comforted. The fucking name keeps getting repeated. Fragnod.
Fragnod.
Fraggy encourages
Say
his
that guy.
listeners.
Fraggy.
We're going with Fraggy. Fraggy encourages his listeners to feel them like themselves and be who they truly are. Writing about the hardships of relationships, mental health, and more, his lyricism is honest and biting, unafraid of facing the truth. Featured alongside dreamy artistic visuals ranging from solo wandering in a middle of nowhere field to surrounded by dancers running in the ocean. Where? Do we have a video for this? Or is this, are we supposed to imagine this? Like, what is going on? I didn't see any video. Did you see?
You were right with the florid. It's a
Very
little
florid,
florid.
very florid, very wordy. I don't know who writes these things, but I just feel like it's completely unnecessary. All right, we're going to skip through that. After attending concert with his sister as a teenager, Diego immediately knew he wanted to be an artist. Okay, same as anyone. Okay, seeing his favourite artists like 5 Seconds of Summer, Billie Eilish, and Ed Sheeran. I could hear Ed Sheeran in there as well, by the way, vocally.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
That was the other person I thought it sounds a bit like. Okay, Harry Styles and more perform live and pick up and blah 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 blah. Okay, we don't need to know this. Born into a Latin family, his mum from Peru and his dad from Paraguay. So not German.
Oh, okay.
No, but there were Germans in South America, so that's probably where the last name came from.
Yeah, because it sounds very.
Born into a Latin name, his mum from Peru and his dad from Paraguay, Fraggy was constantly influenced not just by American pop and rock, but classic Latin music as well. I didn't hear that in that composition.
Yeah,
to be
no
honest.
Latin.
Not at all.
I didn't hear that. No. Although used to creating it in English, his recent work and upcoming releases are proof of his artistry. Effortlessly extends into Spanish, working alongside legendary producers and writers such as Latin Grammy award-winning Hassie. See when they start talking about who they've worked with, and we don't need to know any of that.
Hassie, I know. Yeah.
He seems really young too. From
He's very
his
young.
voice
Yeah, he
too.
sounds
It sounds
very
like he's like 17 or 18.
Very
almost.
young. If
Like
his-
he seems really young.
If he's looking up to artists like Ed Sheeran and Harry Styles, and who to an old fart like me are still kind of new. You know what I mean? It's like Billie Eilish. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
it says he's 23.
he's 23, but
Yeah.
he sounds super young.
Yeah, he's got a good future.
There's
He's got
Pretty polished.
half a
He's
million
got an idea. Yeah.
followers.
there's his socials if anybody wants to follow him.
500,000, did you say?
Half a
Stefan?
million, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
No, he's he's
Yeah, he's
big
kind of
time.
established. Yeah,
Well, established on social media isn't the same as being established.
in the industry. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
those two are not necessarily, you know.
He's popular.
But that's what we look for when we
Right.
looking for somebody like that. It's like how
Right.
many followers you have.
To
on
me,
your
he just sounds
social.
very too much like a lot of other people. Though.
I agree.
He needs
Totally.
something more
agree.
distinctive to really break out.
I absolutely agree. He sounds like a lot of other people. And that was my first
He's got a lot of good images though. Like everywhere, he's going to do well. With.
Scrapping young lad.
Oh,
He's going to
Because he's
doing well with.
23.
Well,
yeah.
like I say, being
You're right, Andy.
popular on social media doesn't conflate with radio airplays. I mean, I don't want to say selling records or selling music, but this is the problem now. People don't buy music, they consume it, right? They stream it. They're not actually going out and buying physical copies of, or even paying for downloads for music. So it's a different, this is what we want to try and get people back to, is getting out of that habit of consuming music and actually purchasing it. Right? And nobody said that either of those people were bad influences, Andy. What I'm saying is they're still young, fairly new artists. They're not artists that have been around for 40 or 50 years. Billie Eilish, Ed Sheeran, they're still current. So if someone's being influenced and looking up to current artists, they're clearly quite young. That was the point I was making. Nobody said they're a
Me
bad
too.
influence or a bad role model. That's not what I was
Right.
saying. Okay, so what did we think? Did we think it was a hit or a miss?
It's not synth pop, but it's a hit.
oh,
It's a hit all round. Congratulations. What did I say to call him? Fraggy. Congratulations, Fraggy.
Fraggy, Fraggy.
Fraggy,
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 Fraggy.
Fraggy.
That's what he needs. He needs a hook like
Yeah.
that.
That's what he needs.
Yeah, yeah.
Little sizzle.
You're welcome.
Fraggy do.
You're welcome, Fraggy. See, in 20 years' time, when you're an influence on other people, you can say it was Leggy on the radio called me Fraggy, and that's where it changed.
And you're good, Andy. We thank. That's why, like, we want
Absolutely,
our
no,
audience.
but
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify what I was saying because I didn't want it to come off like I was saying that those are bad
No.
artists. 'cause
Yeah.
they're
I agree
absolutely
with
not.
Andy.
Okay, so email.
Next is the third song, right? Yep.
Is I feel like we're not getting very far in terms of like we're only in November and we're looking at the emails. Like I feel like we're not getting, but I'm also conscious of the fact that there's so many that are being missed. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Did that jump over? Yes, it did.
Yeah.
You're just getting more and more popular, so there's more and more submissions.
So many,
That's
so
it.
many. I still need to go back and read over them because they won't be ignored, but I'll get around to it eventually. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, Coca-Cola we've had before.
Yeah.
I don't really want to keep.
Yeah, we appreciate it,
showing
Andy.
this-
Thank
I don't
you.
really want to keep showing the same people, showcasing the same people all the time. But a lot of these names I
You recognize them.
recognize from before. You know, there's people are sending in their latest, release from this artist or whatever. This has some attachments. Does this have the file attached? Okay, let's go for this one
A
then.
lot attached.
Has that jumped over? Yes, it has. Has this one jumped over? No, it hasn't.
No.
Okay. Right. So
This is fun. I'm glad to be back. This is really fun.
it's
I
been
missed
a
you guys.
while. When was the last time you
I
were
know.
here? It must be nearly 2
Like a
years.
year.
No, a
He-
year ago,
he-
I think.
Yeah, he was the first ones that were on.
I know,
with
I know,
us.
but we started it over 2 years ago. That's what I'm saying. Like,
But
when
then I
was
did
that?
one randomly, I think. It just
Yeah, he
this
jumped in
night
once.
works really
just
well
random,
for me.
Yeah.
Again, we've got a whole bunch tracks, right?
The first track.
So we'll just go for the first track. I would hope that if someone's sending tracks over, the first one would be the one that would grab you anyway, right?
Yeah.
So let me know if we've got sound.
Posting this message from another life. Proudly we're waiting. Please take your time. Our energy is interrupted by a world that's so disrupted. What can you see when you look around? Tell us, what can you feel? What can you make from the screen? Decide what is real. Recollect
Okay. Jeeves, you go first, and we'll chop and change it.
Okay, cool. I don't know. I didn't really like this one. It seemed to like it was a mess, a complete mess. I didn't know where it was going, what he was doing. It was hard to hear the vocals, like what he's trying to say. The synth stuff. It to me, it sounded like he had a synth whatever patch in his computer, whatever had a keyboard in front of him, and just went selecting whatever sounds is there and just throwing it on. It was a full on mess, bro. I'm sorry. Like I didn't know where it was going. And the vocals were just like whatever, you know. Like once everything kicked in and stuff, like the synth was way too loud to hear the vocals. I don't know. I just didn't get it. I'm sorry. I did not get the concept of the song or anything. Like it didn't go anywhere for me. It just stayed neutral for me. So that's just me.
Right, Yuri?
So yep, I didn't get it. So
Right. C-dubs.
All right, yeah. I actually overall the I guess the concept, the general sound I was digging, but like nothing else. At the beginning with the echoey thing was so jarring to me. It didn't sound good at all. And then I don't know, you guys, I've got headphones on. The back and forth channels there, the second part was just like completely ridiculous to me. Was way over the top. What else did I? Oh, the vocals weren't great, and the sound sounded like stock music sounds. Like I wasn't digging it at all. And then when the horns came in, I was just like, really, like, yeah, no, like trying to be, I guess, unique a little bit, but I wasn't digging it. That's my my take on it as a non-music production professional.
Stefano.
Uh, I I don't think I can find any redeeming qualities to it, unfortunately. And I'm a synth pop fanatic, and electronic music and stuff, but I find that just because you have a mic doesn't give you the right to be a vocalist. Like, I don't think everyone should be. I think a lot of people want to be singers, and they probably shouldn't. But in this case, I think this person has some sort of software and doesn't have the right to make music either, unfortunately. I mean, there's a lot of development that needs to occur. I'm not saying it's like, finished, but uh, I don't find anything appealing about this track in any way. I actually found myself zoning out about 3 or 4 times, and I found myself going through deleted emails. Like, I don't know, I've never looked through my trash. Like, that's how bored I was. But that's just, feel bad for saying that because it is someone's piece of work. But it needs a lot of development. In I don't think you should be singing. Maybe you should find a vocalist, and I think he needs to really focus on music and be more original and songwriting. And just there's a lot of challenge here. That's all I got.
Jim.
I don't know where to start. Just, I mean, it's not a dig or anything, but the thing is that me being kind of a prog rock kind of guy and a synth guy, at the beginning, I hear that chillax synth vibe coming. I hear like a little distinct mellotron. I'm showing my age when I say mellotron coming up from underneath, like an old Genesis track or an old, something from like the early 70s. I'm thinking, okay, maybe that'll be that hook. They'll get me in. You add a little synth, and we're into something that I may like, but not a lot of other people are going to like. And then the vocals kicked in. And the lyrics, the vocals and the lyrics were very marginal. I don't want to say, I'll say mid. Those vocals, if you're going to have someone who can sing, as Jeeves alluded to, you got to have the production values in place where those vocals are right in your face. And you got to have the lyrics that are going to be unique and compelling to lure us into listening to the rest of the song. Bring that mellotron sound up in front. Give me something like on the note of B. Make me weep instantly. This didn't do it for me. And as Andy in the chat and a lot of you alluded to, what was the story with the horns at the end? If there's anything, if you're going to have a crescendo, if you want to build something, if you want to build momentum to end the song and leave a lasting impression on your listeners, give me something up front that will bring that Mellotron louder and louder into the final part of the song. Crank up that synth, bring that bass in, have something vibrating, get rid of the horns. Lots of work that needs to be done here, guys. And like I said, back to the drawing board. That's it.
Okay. So reading the comments, and Andy says horns didn't fit. That's an understatement. That's polite, Andy. Okay. When I first heard this, it's near the start. I actually was quite into it. I was quite enjoying it. And the switching channels thing was the first thing I thought, oh, okay, wasn't expecting that. But then that became a regular occurrence throughout the whole thing. Like I say, it's weird being the final person to chat because you've already covered everything. The comment that Jeeves made about searching for every sound, every pre what do you call it on the synth that's already there? The patch that's already there. What do you call it? The pre-sound, whatever. Fucking might. It's like somebody got a Yamaha DX7 and went through every single pre-patch, pre-sound, everything, everything, including the horns. Right. The first thing that got me was it sounded like it was meant to be brass, but it wasn't. I think it was meant to be like a cello or something, but it sounded like a really cheap cello sound. And I was like, fuck, why did they not just get somebody with a cello? And then the horns and to be honest with you, when the brass kicked in, it started to do my head in. Right away, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna get a headache. Like, no. But brass does that to me anyway, actually. I'm not great with jazz for that reason. Sorry, C-dubs, I know you love your jazz.
No, I like horns, but that was not the horns I like.
No.
And not in the context it's supposed to be.
There's a joke in there. I'm behaving myself.
Okay.
Sometimes you've got to make light though, right? Because it just feels so heavy right now. I'm like, oh no, I can actually feel a headache brewing. And it was when the fucking horns kicked in. I was like, oh no.
That's when I knew it was over.
Oh,
I was like,
no,
there's no redemption at all.
I'm trying to find some redeeming features. And actually, you've all tore the vocals apart, but they actually weren't that bad. It sounded a little bit like they were mediocre, but you could hear the phrasing. It was reminiscent of, I mean, they're clearly trying to emulate Depeche Mode in certain parts.
Pet Shop Boys.
I could even hear U2's influence in there. Some of the ways that he was phrasing. No, his phrasing of the lyrics sounded a little bit like he was trying to be Bono, even / Midure to a certain extent, the way that it was phrased. The problem is that both of those guys can really fucking sing. So, I'm trying to find something because I don't want to come off like I'm being really critical. But I don't think his vocals were that bad. They weren't great, but they would have been tolerable if the rest of the track wasn't so discombobulated is the wrong word, but if it wasn't so schizophrenic, like it just feels like it's there's no
Channel
it's too
it's all over the place.
Too much.
Yeah.
It's too intense. It's too in your face, and it's too
many things.
Scattered. It's too yeah. There's no cohesion. There's a word I'm looking for. There's no cohesion, and really cheap, like presets. Yeah. Presets. That's the word I'm looking for. Really cheap presets on whatever keyboard he's using. Correct. Couldn't pick a direction. You're right, Andy. So,
should come with Tylenol.
Should we read the email? I feel like we should probably at least do the guy the courtesy of reading the email. Let's
see what.
Let's see what's happening. All right. Okay. Here is the first EP from British alternative electronic rock act. Put your teeth back in, Helen. Bloody hell. Echo Trigger. Well, the trigger part is they've got that nailed because it was really fucking triggering. It really was.
Trigger warning.
Ding, ding,
Trigger
ding,
warning.
ding.
The EP shows a bit more indie rock side of the band, but still with great electronic tracks like Afterlife. That's the song we just heard, by the way, Afterlife.
What?
And Corridors of Time, with the lead single Alone with Someone. Composer Paul just sent lyricist Joel a rough early idea, and then it all quickly developed into this beautiful song. The track is contemplative and reflective about those rare people who really touch your life, and then the magic disappears and you're kind of still in each other's presence, but at the same time very much not. The death of a spark and the death of someone it was once, and the sadness of it all, the melancholic feeling of solitude is the red thread throughout the whole EP. Don't miss a great evening of grand British alternative electronic rock music when both Echo Trigger and Highly Round Empathy Test give a concert at the cool underground venue Basement CPH in Copenhagen. Okay, people of Copenhagen,
Wait a second.
that gig is still worth going to because Empathy Test are absolutely they're worth going to see. And
Yeah, they're amazing.
Wait. These guys played with Empathy Test?
It's saying that
I think they put empathy test in as a keyword so that you'd read.
Oh, okay. Or they're just saying
Like,
show
I don't
off
know.
Empathy Test.
apparently there was a gig in Copenhagen. We've missed it. It was November 24. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, regardless, doesn't matter
Oh
whether
my
it
gosh.
doesn't matter whether these guys are good or crap. The gig's worth going to because Empathy Test are so good.
Sure.
Yeah, they're
Empathy
amazing.
Test is
So
awesome.
good.
I love those guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's a big long blurb about Echo Trigger.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if I can be arsed, but I would like to have read what their influences are, because I could hear things in there. And right away, sure enough, it says Depeche Mode. It says formed Echo Trigger together based on their shared appreciation and admiration of art such as Empathy Test. Don't hear any Empathy Test in there at all whatsoever. David Bowie,
No.
9 Inch Nails, The Cure, The National, and Depeche Mode. You can hear that they're trying
Okay,
to
hear David Bowie on that
You
with
hear
the
that they're-
synths.
you can hear that they're trying to emulate
Mm.
Depeche Mode.
How
Actually.
can you put the National in with these guys?
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Nothing like the National.
Nothing
No.
like that.
Nothing like Empathy Test either.
No, nothing like
Right.
empathy test. I really think they know that you're a big fan of empathy test, and they put it in there so that
Because
it would
look,
make
mentioned
some sort of
look,
keyword.
look, they've mentioned. I don't know if
really.
you can see. Can you see when I move my
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Well, the fact
And-
that it's like
But hang on.
bolded in
See when I
text,
move
too.
when I move my mouse. Can you see that on the screen? When I move my mouse, do you see that?
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
in
Yeah.
bold.
So look,
In bold,
Empathy Test
bolded,
one.
yeah.
They've mentioned them 1, 2, 3
Right.
times at
That's what I
least.
mean. It's a keyword.
Oh boy.
Yeah, trying to pull you.
Yeah. It definitely was triggering. And the
Should've put
melancholy,
the
I
Slow
definitely
Readers
felt
Club in there,
melancholy
too.
after listening to that. Like,
Wait, go
not
back to
in
the
a good way.
pictures.
I don't know if I've got a headache because of the track or because I've not got enough caffeine. Like I haven't sussed that out. I don't want to blame
No.
these guys.
The
No.
track was because of the you can get vertigo just from like going back and forth or whatever. It's not
Yeah,
just
the
visual.
channel
It could be
switching
also,
was
yeah,
way
switching
too much.
way too
I've
much.
never heard
That
that
can give
much.
you
It was
vertigo.
when the
It was
brass
just
hit, I was- I
jarring
could actually feel it
in
like
my
whoa.
ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, boys.
No.
Mhm.
I think we all know what this is going to be.
Echo
Next.
Trigger. I'm so sorry. Do you know what I feel like though? I feel like off air when I'm not here, I'll do them the courtesy of listening to the rest of the tracks
Mm.
because maybe that one just wasn't. Oh, look at the booty tattoo.
Kitty.
It's a new little kid.
I
Hi,
didn't even
kitty.
get to ask the question if it was a hit or a miss.
I think we all
Oh,
knew what
shit.
it was
I
going to
put
be.
the wrong one. Sorry.
Oh.
wrong one.
Jeeves, I was like, what's going
My
on?
bad. Okay, there you
Maybe
go.
Jeeves
The
liked
rebel.
it. Maybe Jeeves liked it. He's allowed to.
Wrong button. Wrong
He's
button.
allowed to
Sorry.
have a differing opinion, right? Can we all put them back up again all at the same time to get the screenshot? I'm sorry,
Yes.
Jim.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, put it up.
There
Jim's
we
in his own world. There we go. I'm so
going to
sorry, Echo
The
Trigger.
analog.
Little Goji thinks it's a miss too.
Oh, you gorgeous.
Oh.
Shut your kitty.
There we
Is this a baby? Is this a new
It's a
one?
baby.
Oh,
Has,
looks- yeah,
has
looks
your
like a
other
little
cat
kitty.
stopped crying now that he's got a friend?
Yes, yes.
go. Yeah, I can see that.
Womp womp.
Last week was
There you go.
last
Epic
time was
Man.
like he was going the whole time.
Yeah, I can understand. It's a wee shame when you lose. When they lose their buddy. Right.
Yeah.
What was that? 3? Have we got time for
Okay,
one
we got
more?
one more. Yeah.
We've got
Sure,
time.
yeah.
Have we all
That's
got
another
time
one.
for one more? Have we got time to hang
Yeah,
around?
let's
for you?
let's
Sure.
redeem this one.
Yeah,
one
let's
is
get a
good.
good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, we don't
Hopefully.
want to end on a missile round. That's a
We
bit.
don't end on a womp womp like Echo
Yeah.
Man says, or Epic
Womp
Man
womp.
says.
Womp womp.
That's some cool like promo graphics.
Let's see if we can find something. I'll tell you what, Stig Wittendorf doesn't have send an awful lot of fucking emails. There's quite a lot here. That's the same guy that just sent the last one.
Dig.
Epic womp womp.
Stig. Yeah.
Yeah. Epic womp womp. Yeah.
Okay, here's one here. I think it's got. Has it got? No, it's streaming. I'm not streaming. I'm sorry, Color Theory, but we'll need to. I want to find one with files attached. It's easier. Okay. Does this have? Oh no! I'll
Aren't
tell
the
you what.
attached files the one with the red, like the little red?
Yeah.
I saw a Visage thing in there too.
Yeah, that's why I'm not playing it, because it's not
Uh-huh.
it's not Visage. There are no members of Visage in Visage, so
Yeah.
no.
Hi, Rusty.
Hi, Rusty.
Oh, it's the same PR sending
Rusty
that.
watching.
NPR. Okay, at least it's got the file attached. So let's
Christmas.
let's have a Christmas song in the middle of
Yay.
March.
There you go.
Will we?
Yay.
Will we?
Christmas in March.
Or will we do will we skip this one and go to another one? Because that seems a bit silly.
No, let's just go.
No.
I didn't
Yeah,
even-
if it's a Christmas song, I don't
I
know.
didn't even
That would
know.
be weird.
I didn't even notice that it was a Christmas song. That's
True.
how much. That's
Try
how
to
much.
get at least into January.
That's how much I was not reading the email before I play it. Was do you know what I mean? Okay. Here's another one, and I'm playing this because Color Theory sent me something directly already, and this Stig Wittendorf also sent me Color Theory, the same track. So the track's been sent to me twice, and I feel like we should play it because it's been sent twice.
Oh, okay.
So let's just do that, okay? I need
Yep,
to.
Twice, 3 strikes and they're out.
I just
Yeah,
feel like
you
that's like
need it.
okay, if they're so desperate to have it heard and they're sending it by 2 different means, then let's just let them hear it. Let's just hear it. Right.
That's fair.
Tell me if we've got sound.
Yep.
Yes.
Trying to withstand the gravity of life and the meaning of feeling so disgraced. I try to sustain this inner feeling of being so worn down and often misplaced. Everything I want in life is to feel what I deserve. And everyone I try to love is seeking the other side of my curve. Trying to pretend that everything's alright and everything good comes to he who waits. I try to remain positive in mind and in heart, in search of something great. Everything I want in life is to feel what I deserve. And everyone Everything I want in life is to feel what I deserve. Everyone I try to love, seeking the other side of the curve. Of the
All right. Sorry, I just have to unmute all the mics again because normally if we have the mics open while the music's playing, it just completely kills the audio. So I've got to like mute all the mics and then unmute all the mics. Just in case you're wondering why it's taking me so long to come back on again, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing things behind the scenes, people. I'm actually working. Who would knew? Who would knew? Right.
You don't have a producer?
Well, I'm doing it all by
You're
myself.
your own producer.
So talented.
So talented.
That's what it is. I'm so talented.
talented.
Right. Shall we go Stefano first, and then we'll do Jim, and then either C-Dub, whatever. We'll just try and jumble it out a bit. So, Stefano, you go first.
This was the best written song, maybe in all of these shows for me. It was so catchy. It was so melodic. He knew exactly where to go with each note. The music was great. I just wish the vocals were better. Like, I wish it had the vocals of that young dude that we heard earlier with this melody in this music. This was like bang on. It was so catchy, so well done. Yeah, it was just, I like really super melodic things like this. And he knew exactly where to go, where to pause. He knew the question and answer kind of thing of the melodies. And it was just, it brought me back to like old school, again, Erasure and stuff. Really super catchy, super well written. Just wish the vocals were someone else or better or something. I do get the whole droning vocal with this kind of music, but I just wish the vocals were stronger. But what a great song. What a well-written pop song. Like, that is like excellent. That's all I got to say. My cat's playing fetch with me at my feet, so I'm going a little crazy. So he's sorry if I keep like fidgeting.
So you're working behind the scenes as well. You're multitasking as well. Skills. Skills.
We got all skills.
Right, Jim?
All right. Well, the second that song started, when you are lost and looking
Yeah,
for
play it all.
someone.
I know.
Yeah, it had that
Promise.
whole like "When in Robe," the promise. I felt like it was the summer of 1987, and I was dating a girl named Julie Vito in the city, and I was 21 and she was 19, and life was good because I didn't have to pay a mortgage like I do here and taxes like here in the United States. But anyway, identical, and it brought me back to a good time. When you bring out a song like that up front, for me personally, it brings me back to college. It brings me back to a happier time when we all got along a lot more, and it literally lured me in. It had a definitely like an 80s vibe. It was a great time. Definitely not just a vibe that was similar to hearing songs from artists like When in Rome with The Promise, but Vince Clarke inspired work for like Yazoo, for example. Erasure was another one, as Steph has referred to earlier too. Right at the beginning, I don't know if it was just the audio here on the stream, but it seems like that, I mean, not just the keys that went above. Maybe this is something that Jeeves can amplify on. This seems like those keys that were above the synth sound were a little bit overmodulated, slightly distorted. Seemed like those levels were maybe a little bit too hot from a technical standpoint. And it did bury the vocal a little bit. And that's where I was wondering, is it the keys that were just over him? Or was it that the vocalist, he had a vocal styling similar to, at first I thought of Mark Ullman. at first, and a little bit of like a camouflage at first. That low, that the great commandment, like that low kind of voice. Maybe those vocals need to be a little bit more direct, a little bit more powerful. Not too much, but the lyrics were amazing. The only downside, as far as the verse, chorus, verse part of the song, maybe skip that little lull between the end of the first chorus and the start of the second
I
verse.
liked it.
Give her that for maybe 15, 20 seconds. Outside of that, powerful stuff. I loved it.
Chris.
I liked that little lull actually. It kind of like reset things a bit. I loved this song. I just thought it was just well produced. It definitely brought back memories from the 80s. To me, it was more like I'm not a huge musical expert, I guess, but Depeche Mode, like it sounded just great to me. There's no even the vocals, the lyrics. I have no bad things to say about it. It's probably the best song I've heard so far. I mean, not that I've done a lot of these, but it's definitely a song that I would hear on your show too, Helen. Um, but yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about it, really. I don't have any like technical issues with it. Although I had to step out for a little family thing here for a bit, so I'm actually gonna like look this up and make sure that I listen to it in whole. Like this is something that I would definitely listen to. This doesn't sound like so a lot of the songs that we hear are you can tell that they're kind of I don't know, just starting out or a little, not totally professional. This sounded like right there. I mean, back in time a little bit, definitely like sounded like other songs, but I didn't mind that at all. Like it's the lyrics I think got me on it. Like it sounded original lyric wise. So that's where I am with it.
Jeeves.
Oh, I loved it. It was good. The musical wise was good and everything. Yeah, I agree with everyone else about the vocals and stuff. I think it sounded like he was looking for somebody and then he decided, okay, I'll just sing it or whatever kind of thing. The only issue I had was the vocals, the way he was sang and the way he mixed it. It didn't really blend enough proper. I think he needs a better singer and redo this with a good singer because the musical side of that whole thing is it's phenomenal. Like he's got it all there. Everything is there. It just needs I don't think they worked on a lot on that vocal mixing or whatnot. It sounded very dry in certain points when he was doing his singing. So that's the only downside I have with the song. But other than that, I like everything else about it. It was it was right there for me. Yeah, I agree with Visage. It was one that I thought of. I even thought of like Ultravox and stuff, with the drums and all that. Kind of a little bit for me at least. So yeah, and that's me.
Could I just add one little thing that goes kind of ties everyone together with this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, I think the reason I didn't like the vocal also because there's so much of an arpeggiating bass line, synth bass, in his because I work with a vocalist that's very dynamic in range,
Yeah,
and we always work on not on making sure that the vocal frequency, if I have a lot of bass happening, he goes higher, and we had a lot of background vocals that are higher. If I'm getting a lot of treble in my music, we go lower with this. So his vocal is very bassy, and so is the music that's arpeggiating constantly. So that's probably another reason
yeah, it
that a
was
lot of
fighting.
people are not kind of jiving with the vocal on top of the quality of the vocal.
Yeah,
It's also the frequency of the vocal meshing with the already low frequency of the arpeggiating synth bass. But that's all I have to say.
yeah, I agree.
Sorry, I was a little bit distracted there. My neighbours are having some kind of riot outside. There's some
Oh no!
there's some kind of screaming and yelling going on. I kept muting my mic because I'm really hoping you guys aren't hearing the domestic that's going out.
No,
On.
we can't hear nothing.
Let's
You're
go
good.
party.
Like,
Let's go.
It's 1:50 in the morning here. It's 1:50 in the morning here on a Friday night, Saturday morning, and obviously there's been some drinking that's been going on.
Oh,
So
Good
anyway,
nature,
as
Roland.
long as it's not too distracting, it's
there's no gunshots or anything like
no,
that.
well,
No,
no,
yeah.
Hey,
it's
come
not
to
I
America.
don't hear
Chicago.
anything at
It's not
all.
America, right? So back to the track. Okay. Musically, this actually sounded to me, certainly at the start and into the first half, very Jean-Michel Jarre. and it kind of had that sort of chill. It sounded to me like it was going to start off as an instrumental. I was actually quite surprised when some vocals kicked in. Definitely hear Erasure in the background. Definitely hear that as an influence. It's interesting that Jesus mentioning Visage and Ultravox. I'm just pleased that you're mentioning Visage and Ultravox because I feel like I'm educating you in some kind of way if those bands are mentioned. I feel like the years of brainwashing or somehow like it's working. It's magic.
Yep.
They got mentioned.
Mhm.
No, I really like this. I know that there's some disagreement about whether or not the vocals were good. I actually liked his vocal. I liked the fact that you would know that this was him. Like he was distinct enough. He wasn't trying to emulate or impersonate someone else. You would hear him singing and you would know it's his voice. That to me is a good vocalist. That to me is a good singer. When you can hear you can hear a voice and you know, oh, that's Brian from Colour Theory. Do you know what I mean? He has that. I quite enjoyed it. I know what you're saying about him being bassy, him being down here somewhere. He's maybe a baritone in the same kind of vocal range as Dave Gann from Depeche Mode. And again, he might be trying to sort of like emulate that formula, you know. The thing about Depeche Mode is they have two vocalists. Dave Gann's away down here he's a baritone, and then you've got Martin Gore, who's actually up here, who's got a really soulful voice. He almost sounds like a kind of like an alto female vocal, you know, and those two play off each other really, really well. This guy is obviously working solo. I think he does everything in the band. I think it's him doing the music and the vocals. And we have actually played Colour Theory before. A while back, I remember him being under discussion. I think Christina was mentioning him at one point when you were in gym. I think we had a conversation. I think it's the same guy. I think the fact that this was sent twice, both by the artists themselves and by the PR company, I think, you know, I did the right thing. I'm pleased I played it. I'm glad we listened to it. It was a cracking track. I would definitely play this on Helen's mixtape, and I will actually make sure that I flag it up so that it's on my next kind of list of, you know, songs that I kind of work through, because there are a lot of them. No, I enjoyed this. I don't really have very much more to add. I'm also very distracted by all the notifications that are going off on the Ring camera, the carry on that's going on from the neighbours. I'm so sorry. If I look like I'm distracted, that's why. I enjoyed this. But it was, for me, it was reminiscent of Jean-Michel Jarre, certainly towards the front end, before the vocals kicked in. I was like, ooh, because I'm a huge Jean-Michel Jarre fan. I love that stuff. And I think this could have, although I enjoyed it with the vocal, this also could have existed as an instrumental version as well. And I would like to sift through Brian's work and see if there is an instrumental version of it, because again, that would take on a whole different feel, you know? Okay, shall we read the email? We should probably read the email. I'm slacking here. I'm sorry. Before I do that, let's just quickly check what the comments were saying, because I'm aware that people are commenting, and Eddie Vedder. Oh, I do know that name.
Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. Yeah. See, these guys are big into the rock, right? I'm not so much. Like I'll listen to some rock music, but I'm a big synth head, so this is why it's nice to have a panel of people who are on a totally different spectrum of what we listen to, right? It's important that we don't all just listen to the same stuff. It's cool. Right, let's get into this email. So, Town and Tower Records are super proud to present the second new single in 2024 from Second Complex featuring Colour Theory. So, this isn't just Colour Theory, this is Second Complex featuring Colour Theory. This is a collaboration.
Oh, that's cool.
It's interesting. Okay. The Curve. Collaboration time.
That's usually my favorite.
The Curve is a favorite. Do you know how many times I've been asked to say collaboration time?
Yeah.
The Curve is a favorite of the 4 tracks which Colour Theory Brian Hazard did. I'm sorry. I'm either the grammar or the punctuation's really bad, or I'm just not reading this properly. Start again, Helen. The Curve is a favourite of the 4 tracks which Colour Theory's Brian Hazard did the vocals on for the upcoming Second Complex album. So the band are Second Complex, and Brian Hazard did the vocals. Is that what we're getting?
Right. Brian Hazard from Color Theory did the
Did the
vocals
vocals,
on.
The vocals.
and they've done the music, from what I can gather in this sentence. An album that will be out in springtime 25. Fans will love the classic synth sounds from the 2000s era, which will lead your memory towards German bands like D Vision and Wolfsheim. I need coffee. The track is yet another follow-up on a strong, long-lasting friendship and music collaboration between Dan Beck from Second Complex and Brian Hazard from Colour Theory. Okay. Second Complex is a solo project by Dan Beck, known from the Danish electronic act Velon. The Second Complex solo project started in 21 during COVID. This is quite a lot of blurb, isn't it? It's quite florid. These always are. The music is inspired by the 80s synth pop and dark wave genre. Dan works with different vocalists from the electronic music scene. Now, this is what someone was saying. If you're not a vocalist, bring a vocalist in, right?
Yeah.
So this is clearly what this guy, Dan from Second Complex, does. He's bringing in other singers, and he's decided to work with Brian from Colour Theory. And you guys all were like saying, get a different vocalist.
I like the vocalist, actually.
I didn't mind it either, actually. I quite like the fact that it's distinctive. You can tell it's him, you know?
Right.
There's a whole bunch of stuff here about people he's worked with. We don't really need to know all of this. It's too, you know what I mean? It's kind of irrelevant. Okay, Colour Theory. Brian Hazard is one of the electronic music scene's notable musicians, a famous Los Angeles songwriter and producer. Has gained more than 15 million plays across streaming platforms. Blah 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 blah.
The song was called Curved. Is that right?
The Curve.
The Curve.
The
Okay,
Curve.
The Curve.
There's nothing mentioned here about influences or anything, but I think we can hear them in the music.
Yeah, exactly.
That's usually what I'm looking for when I'm looking through it. I don't want to know about who they've worked with, or what colour underwear they wear, or what school they went to, or who shagged who in 2012. I don't want to know. I just want to know what their musical influences are, to see if we actually nailed that, to see if we actually got that pegged. And for the most part, I think we did, even though it doesn't actually say it. Right. Is there anything in the comments? Nobody else has got anything to say about this track. Right, what did we think, boys? Was it a hit or a miss?
Huge hit.
Huge! It's huge!
Loved it.
Yeah.
I'm so
That
sorry.
made my night.
I'm really sorry. Can we all? Because I didn't have mine up yet. Oh my! Can we
Okay, everybody put it up again.
get them up, boys? Come on.
Hold on, we're waiting for Stefano.
Sorry.
Dog it. There we go.
Thank you. It's just so I can get the screenshot with them all. That's fantastic. Congratulations to Colour Theory and Second Complex. Well done. Thank you for sending your track in. Again and
Good
again.
ending.
It was worthwhile sending it in twice. Congratulations. Well
Yes,
done.
I'm glad you played it.
I'm
Great
glad
way to
I
end
did
the
too.
show too. That's awesome. Great song.
On a high note.
Absolutely. So what we'll do is we'll do the same thing again. We'll go all round and everybody, tell the folks at home a bit about yourself. I'll find your. Where are we? Here we go up here.
Me first.
You first. We're
Yep.
going clockwise again.
All right.
Sorry, Chris.
So I'm on Twitch as Retromaker TV and soon to be DJ Retromaker. I'm not as much of a music expert as the rest of the folks here, but I know what I like, and I like to play stuff on my turntables, old school vinyl still. And I just saw the band Illiterate Light last night. Shout out to them. They rocked it hard in a small little venue in the mountain town of Evergreen. But I'd like to thank Helen for having me back on, and I hope to do some more of these. So thanks everyone for being here, and it's good to see everyone.
Thank you for coming back on.
Awesome.
I'm trying to get you to come back for long enough. I'm glad you're here.
I know.
I can't
He's
remember.
the
who-
OG.
I know. Right. Jim next. We'll go round in order, I think.
Helen, thank you so much for being an outstanding presenter as always. And again,
Shucks,
thanks to my
thanks.
Yes, and thanks to my panelists, my fellow panelists. Thank you to Chris. Welcome back to Steph and to Jeeves. My name is Jim. I'm from the northwest suburbs of Chicago in my 10th year of live streaming here on Twitch. You can find me at Jim in Chicagoland. I am the host and the presenter of Saturday Night Trivia here on the Twitch network. We do 2 rounds of trivia, general knowledge and music trivia. And speaking of music trivia, you music junkies out there, I am doing and accepting playlists. So if you have a playlist that you'd like to try to stump our audience with, please send them to me via 2 avenues, via IG at Jim in Chicagoland or over on X at JS Scope. And we're doing a movie theme this week. So movies this week. Next week it's back to music. So I'd love to hear from you guys and see if you can stump our group of music snobs. So please join us tomorrow night, Saturday Night Trivia, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, over this wonderful Twitch network.
Jeeves, you next?
Well, I'm a DJ Mr. Twix. I DJ on Twitch. You can find me over there. It's Mr_Twix, TWIXXZ. And you can find me on Twitch.
Is that it? You're so quick. You're almost done before I could even find your little label for the bottom. I'm like scrolling through them trying to find you.
Right there. Look into that.
That was short and sweet. Fair enough.
Yep.
All right. And
An
last
accomplished musical producer as well.
Last
Yes.
Yes.
Last but not least, Stefano, you go next.
I'm Stefano Barberis. I'm from the Vancouver area, and I'm a music video director. And you can find me. I'm not on any streaming sites, I guess, but you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, the Nazi site X. You can find me pretty much everywhere. TikTok, just join TikTok. And I'm also one half of Breathe My Leaves, the emotional melodic synth pop band, and the musical side of it. With Jordan, and we're working on a new album, which we're really excited about. And that's basically it. Thanks for having me on the show. It's a lot of fun. Love judging.
It's always lovely to have all of you in here. You're some of my favourite people, some of my favourite human beings. So it's lovely, and I wish we could do it more often. But we do this once a month, usually on a Friday. We don't know what the date of the next, Jukebox Jury will be. But if you check jukeboxjury.info, you can see all the past episodes, and we'll keep the social media up to date and let people know when the next one's going to be. It's usually kind of 4 to 5 weeks from the previous one, if that makes any sense. I am Helen, and I am the presenter of Helen's Mixtape on 365 Radio. You can find all my bump and all my info at bio.link/Radio Leggy. You can just about see it there underneath my sort of picture. If you are a musician and you would like to submit your tunage, send me a brief email, please. Brief. 2 or 3 lines is fine. 2 or 3 sentences, it's all I need. And preferably the MP3 file, and send it to radio@helenwallace.co.uk. And it may well feature here. It may well feature on Helen's Mixtape. Who knows? But send it in, and we'll give it a wee listen if you so wish us to. And the other thing, there's a couple of housekeeping things I would like to mention. I did mention this earlier, but I can't remember if we were on air at the time. At the moment, as things stand, this show and my Sunday evening music documentaries, and sometimes my recording of my radio show, Helen's Mixtape, gets multicast out to various platforms. Tonight, we are going out to 2 Twitch streams, X/Twitter, 2 Twitches, TikTok, and Mixcloud. Now, I will no longer be paying the monthly subscription to Twitter/X to enable the live stream to go out to Twitter. I absolutely refuse to financially support Elon Musk anymore, as best as I can. So I will be cutting off that subscription, and this will not be going out to Twitter. So and I can see there are a few eyeballs, or maybe half a dozen eyeballs, sitting over there watching on Twitter right now. If you like to watch my content over there on Twitter Live, please follow me on something else, because I will not be live streaming to Twitter Live. This will probably be the last live stream that goes out to Twitter Live. So or X / Twitter, whatever nonsense they're calling it these days. But all my other social media is on bio.link/Radio Leggy. It goes out to YouTube. Well, this does. Not everything goes out to YouTube for copyright reasons. But find me on Twitch, Radio Leggy or Leggy Lady 01. You'll find me on most social media. I want to try to avoid using Twitter X, and I definitely want to stop paying Elon Musk. So I'm cutting off the live stream into there. So I want to make that announcement, obviously, to let people know that are watching this currently to not follow me. They have to follow me somewhere else so that you can still see these streams that are going out. There was something else I wanted to tell you all, and I've completely forgotten because I'm caffeine depleted and I'm getting old. So I don't remember what the final thing was that I wanted to say, but thank you all for joining. Thank you to the team, obviously, and thank you to the audience. Andy, you've been active and had quite a lot to say in the chat. Thank you for joining us. I know there are other people watching who are a little bit less vocal. Thank you all for tuning in and keeping us company. It is appreciated. We will be back next month at some point, usually 4 to 5 weeks' time. And you know where to find us all in the meantime, in the interim.
Yeah.
Is that us? That's it. I think we're out. We're done. Oh, that cat's so gorgeous.
So cute.
So gorgeous.
Thank you,
Thanks
everybody.
to our Surrey bot or whatever that was, keeping us intact over there.
Yes, sir.
The thing is, we do have people watching. I can see the eyeballs. Restream tells me that there are people there, but they're just shy and they're
Special stalking section.
lurky McLurkersons. But they're not
Yeah, I
going
have
to
to apologize for all my watchers, my viewers that came on.
They're
Oh,
not
that's
gonna,
fine.
they're not going to be lurking on Twitter for much longer because that's getting.
No.
So you'll have to make yourself more known. You'll have to come onto the Twitch
Yep.
site, right,
Yeah,
folks?
or
Thank you
YouTube.
all for coming, and we will
Good
see
night,
you
Andy.
Good night, everybody.
next time.
Night,
Night,
thank you.
Andy.
Cheerio, bye.
Thanks
Ta-ta.
again.